fat, obese, porky, wobble bottom. These are all terms of abuse aimed at the overweight in our society. But I say to you, I am stout and I am proud. Good evening, my lovelies, and I am thrilled absolutely beyond words to be spending the last remaining minutes of Tuesday evening as we roll into Wednesday morning with you amazing people, my little pots of coleslaw. Oh, this is wonderful. I couldn't love you any more than I do. Honestly, if I had the opportunity, I would squeeze and tickle every single one of you until you gurgled slightly and wet yourself. That's how much I think of you. Now then, let's see exactly who I'm going to be squeezing and tickling tonight, shall we? Jimmy Quinn is here. I love Jimmy Quinn. What a lovely guy. He makes the effort to comment on pretty much every single video I put out. He's in the live streams. He regularly bungs me a couple of bob, and that's just amazing. I would definitely cuddle you until you gurgled and wet yourself, Jimmy. Thank you so much, mate. Lovely to have you here. And Simon, similarly, an incredible supporter and a lovely chap, actually, and great fun in real life, and enormously good fun in both his videos and his live streams. And lovely to have you here. Matt, the lovely Matt, a nicer chap with a twinkle in his eye you couldn't hope to meet. Who else have I got? I've got no idea how I'm supposed to pronounce this. Ujuj, who I happen to know is Mrs. Simon, and who is your actual French, and who I've met, and who is charming and lovely. I better not cuddle you until you wet yourself. Simon might hit me. But it's jolly lovely to have you here with me. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody? Oh, a hidden message. How wonderful. GPS is here. That's absolutely fantastic. I like GPS, makes me laugh. I like GPS a lot. GPS gives me a lot of stick, as do most of you actually, including Mustard. But it's in a very loving, light-hearted and amusing way, and I enjoy that. Stephen S. Paul from across the old herring pond is with us. I'm going to talk about the armrest, Simon. Oh, hello. Mustard and Boaty do cars. Oh, well, that's a new one. Good idea. Good idea, Mustard. Get our channel a bit of coverage. We need to do that rebrand. I'll do that tomorrow. So say goodbye to Mustard and Boaty do cars, because after tonight, you're not going to see it again. You'll see things again. It just won't be called that. It's going to be called something different. Bad Books is with us and says, good evening, bonny lad and all. And what a wonderful greeting, and we return it. Another hidden one. Oh, here we go. I told you about GPS, didn't I? Right. Here is his proper greeting. You can tell he's secretly in love with me. Good evening, you lanky streak of piss. How's it hanging, bitch? P.S. What's that crap doing in front of the camera? I'm coming to that. Again, we've heard that before. Make a spreadsheet. What? Pass. Boaty's got paid. No, I haven't. Boaty is skint. Boaty is horrendously skint. Boaty is terrifyingly skint. And yet, I have bought something tonight, and I achieved that by raiding, oh my God, I had to raid the emergency purse of coins in order to buy petrol and in order to buy wine and in order to buy, what else did I buy tonight? Oh, I bought some noodles for my lunch tomorrow. Yeah, and as the purse of coins was reasonably well stashed, I had to go to, if you watched my live stream last night, you would have seen that I discovered live on camera whilst broadcasting to the world, well, to 12 random people who who feel sorry for me and tune in. I discovered live that I was £47 over my overdraft limit. So I had to gather together all of my money, as in paper money, and I had to head over to the post office this morning and make a sacrifice to the gods of the overdraft, which I did very grudgingly because it left me. But Wilfred, I don't mind telling you, Wilfred today, after the post office trip, was empty. Wilfred is my wallet, by the way. And Wilfred was entirely devoid of any actual money. I had to shove it all in the post office to service my overdraft, hence having to use the emergency coin purse tonight. But the bits that I've purchased, I purchased from the lovely Graham, Mr. MGF, or MGTF. If you don't know him, he plays with MGFs and MGTFs on an industrial scale. He makes mustard look lazy. My God almighty. And he lives very locally to the restaurant, and he put another load of stuff on the groups and Facebook Marketplace. And his stuff is always very, very honestly described and very, very fairly priced. And I thought, well, I can't miss those. And if you remember, a few weeks ago, I first visited him and I bought car mats and an aerial base, which I successfully fitted all on my own without any help from a grown-up. And he was kind enough to accept coins of the realm on that occasion, because again, I didn't have any paper money. And he did the same again tonight. Although, if I'm completely honest with you, he didn't accept them. I messaged him and I said, I'll have this and that. Are you in tonight? I'll nip round. And he replied as normal, that, yeah, give me a bell in case I have to go out. And I delivered some food to Alfreton, and he lives in Swanwick, or Swanwick, if you prefer to pronounce it incorrectly. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I also like just saying buttocks. 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 It's very pleasurable. And, you know, in an uncertain world, we have to grasp pleasure wherever we can. Although you shouldn't grasp somebody else's pleasure without their permission. You'll be arrested by a constable. So anyway, the point is, if you'd let me finish, thank you. I rang him up and he said, where are you? I said, I'm just round the corner. I was going to pop round. And he said, oh, I am in, but I'm just about to sit down to my dinner. I've got pizza. And I said, oh, okay, I'll nip round later. And he said, no, it's fine. If you're just round the corner, nip round, I'll just have a gobful. And I said, well, I need to rush anyway, so I'll just grab them and bugger off. So I hoved up at his dwelling, his place of residence. He opened the door, pizza in hand, said, Boaty! he said, the stuff's on the stairs, there's a few to choose one, leave the money on the stairs, I'm going to finish my dinner. Sorry to be impolite, catch you next time. You don't mind if I shut the door, do you? Keep the heat in. So I was left on his kind of downstairs landing at the foot of his stairs with a selection of armrests and visors, and I chose which I considered to be the best from my point of view. And I left £20, specifically 10 £2 coins, on the right hand side of his stairs, on the third step up, and I buggered off. And that's what I'm going to show you these before I go to the comments, because I'm really excited about this. Now, what you've got here, my darlings, fucking look at that. That is incredible. What you've got there, and Simon, who is also Project MGTF, one of our community channels. Simon will recognise this only too well. Let's put it the right way round. This is the armrest and cubby for an MGF stroke TF that I've just spat a little bit of wine on after spending half an hour polishing the bloody thing. Well, actually, I haven't polished it yet. I've treated it. So, this goes in between the seats. This opens up to reveal a cubby within, and this folds down to reveal a cubby here and gives you drink tray there. But the one in Wetleg is the original, and it's just boring dark grey or black plastic. And Graham stuck these on the group. I hadn't even thought about these, and he put 3 on in different colours and said, here we are, armrest stroke cubbies in leather, and it really is leather, honestly. That is leather, trust me, I'm an expert on leather. You've seen my key rings. Some of you might have seen, oh no, you probably haven't. Forget I said that or even thought it. And he said, these are really easy to fit and they're an amazing upgrade. And I thought, well, yeah, they would be. And he only wanted a tenner. So I thought, well, I can't miss that. So I messaged him, and yeah, I'm going to fit that in Wetleg tomorrow if it's not raining, and it's going to look amazing. And I also got, if you remember, Wetleg's passenger sun visor has gone all floppy woppy. So I've got a really good with, whoop. Oh, hear that click. Isn't that pleasing? And this is really solid. So I've got one of these as well, and I'll fit that, and that's going to be amazing. Now, this, he had 2 black ones, and the other one looked better, if I'm honest, but knowing what I do about leather, I thought this had more potential. So when I got home and I was watching Mustard and chatting with some of you, I treated this, given that it is real leather, I treated it with hide food and gave it a good application of hide food, let that sink in, and then I went to Bob, the inexpertly constructed Palace of Motory Delight, where I store all of my auto glim goodness, apart from the mobile auto glim goodness that I might sell, actually. I was thinking I might take it to the meet, see if anybody else wants to buy it. And I applied this leather care balm. It's most awfully good. So I've given it 2 applications of hide food, 3 applications of the care balm. I'm letting that, and it'll have a few more before the end of the night. I'm going to let that soak in overnight so the leather is beautiful, supple, treated, and then I'm going to polish the life out of it tomorrow before I fit it to the car. And I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about a lot of things today. It's been one of those days, quite excitable. And now I'm excited to catch up with your comments. I'm not going to be here for long, by the way. Another 25 minutes and you can all bugger off. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you for 2 hours like I did last night. Where did I get to? Yeah, not paid. How's Boaty? Excited, thank you. Liz, oh, it's so lovely to have you here, Liz. Liz is, do you know, all of you people that I've met, either virtually or in real life, not a single one of you has in any way been a disappointment. I mean, I imagine I have. I imagine I'm a huge disappointment. Well, I damn well know I am. I've got exes who will tell you as much. But you have all been absolutely lovely. And Liz is no exception to that rule. Liz, I mean, you're all just such nice people, and I'm delighted. No, I haven't been on the magic mushrooms. I haven't been on them once, never mind again. I'm just a bit high on life tonight, that's all. I got, the other thing is, I have done some other spending, right? And yeah, I know I haven't got any money, but I have PayPal credit, where you have, well, it's like a virtual credit card on your PayPal account. I've had it for ages. It's only a small amount, and I don't really think about it, but of course every month a payment goes out and some credit becomes available. It means you've got a permanent debt, really, and you're permanently paying interest, which is silly, but it's only a tiddling amount. So that went through a few days ago, and I had like 18 quid of credit to spend. So I bought 2 CDs, an Oasis CD and an Alanis Morissette CD, and they arrived today, and they have been deployed in the Honourable Shison, and they've given me enormous delight. And the other thing I did was shoes. I've got big problems with shoes. I can't afford to buy decent shoes. Well, I mean, I could if I lived a sensible life, but I don't live a sensible life. I've got a fleet of cars that I really can't afford. And I try and keep them running and on the road, which means that I've got no money for anything. I know it's ridiculous. I'm not asking for sympathy or even understanding. It's just the foolishness that I do. I'm an old man. I've failed at life, really. I'm going to end my days here in a damp old cottage in the arse end of nowhere, entirely alone. So I might as well do it stupidly. And I've been in pain with my feet for, God, as long as I can remember, because I don't have any decent shoes. And periodically I buy shoes from bloody, where did the last ones were from Tesco, for God's sake. And of course I'm a big chap, and you wear these shoes and they're perfectly okay for about 8 days. And then the internals all break up, because obviously they're cheap and made in Korea or Vietnam or somewhere. And it's like walking in bare feet on customers' gravelly drives and whatnot. And my feet are absolutely wrecked. So I thought, well, what about going online and searching a well-known online auction house for decent second-hand shoes? I don't care that somebody else's feet have been in them. You know, if you've ever gone bowling and had to use bowling shoes, you're wearing somebody else's shoes and you're paid to do that. So I found some and I bought some, and they arrived today and they are rather splendid. Oh God, can I get my old leg up here? Look at that. Aren't they marvellous? Now, these are Clark's Rock. According to the eBay ad, they'd only been worn once. They're in splendid condition, and they cost me £10 of PayPal credit plus 3 quid to post them. And they arrived this morning, and I have been walking has just been a joy this evening, an absolute joy. I mean, they fit properly. It doesn't hurt to walk. It's hurt to walk for about 2 years, and it hasn't hurt to walk tonight. And it's filled me with orgasmic joy, and I don't mind telling you about it. I'm fizzing with it. Where do I get to? Oh, Trace is here. Hello, Trace. Liz is updating Simon on her fleet. Oh, that was a bit high-pitched, wasn't it? I quite like going high-pitched sometimes. It can be quite nice. Yeah, excellent. Mustard and Boaty do cars. It never ends for a YouTube celeb, says Simon. If you're not editing and uploading, you're meeting slim redheads on yachts in Monaco to party the night away and buy a few hotels. Yeah, right. Oh, Pingu's here. Hello, Pingu. Does he have a leather steering wheel for a TF? Asked Simon. Yeah, he advertised 3 today in 3 different colours. Unfortunately, none of those 3 different colours were green. Otherwise, I would have tried to buy that as well. I either want a green steering wheel. I've got a leather steering wheel in Wetleg. But if I could swap it for a green, you know, the black and green leather steering wheel, then I'd keep the seats that I've got now, or I will swap the seats at some point when some come up and I've got some money. I'll swap the seats for some leather ones. Don't tell Mustard, but I've got my eyes on the one in the car that we're not allowed to talk about and we're not supposed to notice in the videos. That's going to be there for the next 600 years. And I would quite like to nick the seats out of it. Well, buy them. In which case I wouldn't change the steering wheel. There was, on one of the groups today, there was a green and black leather set of seats with the door cards. And they would look amazing in Wetleg. 250 quid. Bloody hell, I didn't pay that much for the whole car. But that's a long answer to a short question. Yeah, he does have leather steering wheels for sale, Simon. And he's got everything else as well. Oh, he's got a hardtop there as well that I noticed. I couldn't talk to him about it because he was scoffing pizza. But I would like to get a hardtop for next winter. Although Mike, Classic Wheels Wales, says he's sure he's got one knocking about his gaff somewhere. Might need painted if it's the wrong colour, but that's not the end of the world, is it? Oh, Roger Boaty's on about his mother. Don't you get tips for food deliveries? No, Jimmy, or at least very rarely. Nobody tips these days. Everybody pays by card, on an app or through the website, and very, very few people tip. Now, when I was a student, I worked, as I've spoken before to Cheeseburger about, I worked at Mario's Pizza Casa in Studley. Everybody tipped then, everybody paid cash and everybody tipped. Nobody tips these days. If you want to know about tips, ask our friend Joseph of the Western New York Bigfoot Appreciation Society, or whatever it's called. That's what he does for a living. He delivers McDonald's for whatever the McDonald's delivery thing is in his part of America. And he's always complaining about tips. You know, people will pay a phenomenal amount of money to get a McDonald's delivered. And he'll schlep out there in his lovely old Jeep through snow and whatnot, because it's a dodgy part of the States where it is. The weather is terrible. And they don't tip him. Oh, Mickey Jeffries is here, brilliant. Oh, and Pingu. What's occurring with the Welsh hardtop for Miss Wetleg? Yeah, which I just mentioned. There hasn't been any mention of it of late, Pingu. And I don't know if that means that Mike has just forgotten about it, or if he had a look for it and it wasn't there after all. So I don't know. But one of the projects before next winter will be, and I think black, a black hardtop. I don't like them all in silver, they don't look very good. And of course the soft top is black, so really the hardtop should be black, shouldn't it? Now Graham had a black hardtop outside his place with a nice lining as well, but I couldn't afford it at the moment anyway, so but yeah, nothing's happening that I know of, Pingu, so If you know of anything or see anything come up, do give me a shout. It's not PVC GPS with leather deodorant. I've always thought of you as a bit floppy. You bloody wouldn't if you woke up in bed next to me. You might at this sort of time of night, admittedly, but not in the morning, dude. It's not genuine faux squirrel leather. I bloody sniffed it. That's leather. Oh, Spotty Butty's here. A very good evening, Boaty and everyone. Oh, this is lovely. Isn't it lovely all being together? Do you get a soft, squidgy feeling from it? I live for this, I do. It's wonderful. Thank you all so much. Stop spending and don't freeze your wine tonight. I've spent my coins and about 18 quid's worth of PayPal credit. God help us. I work 16 hours a day. I'm entitled to something, aren't I? Oh, God. You have to laugh, don't you? I'll check the wine, but the wine, oh, it is quite chilled, actually. The wine went into the freezer from full ambient rather than chilled because my wine stocks were zero, apart from the good stuff. So I had to actually buy this tonight using coins. Right, we've got 12 minutes left. Let's make the most of them. Don't begrudge me my armrest, you miserable bastards. Have another look at it. Go on. Now, admit it. I haven't polished this yet, right? But go on, admit it. Doesn't that look bloody fabulous? Feel it. Feel it. Smell it. Sniff it. You can't deny that that's really going to change a car. And it was 10 quid. 5 £2 coins from the emergency purse. Go on, be honest. Which one of you wouldn't have bought that? You all would, and you know you would. And I'm reasonably confident that I can competently fit that. Now then, we will see. Boaty, what's high food? What's high food? Pass. Right, we've checked the wine, that's okay for the moment. I'm disappointed that I'm not disappointing. I'm never disappointed that I'm not disappointing because I'm always disappointing and people are always disappointed with me. And sometimes I'm disappointed with myself. Right, we're discussing who's an ass. I bought Portishead vinyl last week, says Spotty Butty. Dummy. Give up the... What? What? GPS? Well, let's take a moment to discuss what GPS has typed. Give up the wine for a few weeks and get yourself back on track. I'm going to need it. I'm lost for words. I'm going to need to take a moment. Give up the wine for a few weeks. Let me try and get my head around that. GPS. Do you mean go to bed sober? Oh, God. Well, it's an interesting idea. I think we'll just have to move on from that. Give up the wine. For a few weeks. I could give it up for a day, as long as that didn't include the night. A few weeks. My God. Oh, people do have strange ideas. Jimmy Quinn has got tears in his eyes. Well, yes, my underpants were too tight once as well. Where did I get to? I bought Converse 70s instead of the standard Chuck Taylors. They're decent, says Matt. I don't know what those words mean, Matt. They're probably too cool and trendy for me to know about. Trace says, I love Clarks and buy them second-hand from eBay because the one style that fits perfectly is discontinued. Well, that's why I started looking for them. Because the only one decent pair of shoes that I've got that I save for holidays, and I haven't been on one for 2 years, they're discontinued as well. So I keep looking in case another pair of them come up. Because if another pair came up, either new or really good, then I could wear those that I absolutely love and adore. I ain't worn Clarks since school, says Mickey Jeffries. It's an age thing, mate. Wait until you get to my age. You will crave the comfort of a well-fitting Clarks shoe. They look knackered, says GPS. They were a tenner. What do you want? They're not knackered. They're in really good nick. Bollocks. My feet are knackered. Oh, a message held review. This'll be filth. Fair play, says Matt. My mate got me a walking staff from a charity shop. It's fucking awesome. Well, if it's the one that I've encountered, it certainly is. You could poke people from that from quite a safe distance. I would definitely use your walking staff. I'd use it as a walking staff, Matt, but I would also use it as a medium-range poking device. Who remember? Oh, Liz, I love you for this comment. Who remembers the Clark's foot measuring machine? It was fucking terrifying. You put your little childy foot, or rather your foot was put there. You wouldn't put it there voluntarily. And this terrifying electric machine went that, like one of those, it was like something that an evil villain would try and kill James Bond with. They'd put him in this little room and the walls would close in. And that's what this Clark's machine was. You put your little tender foot in there that's barely started to live life. It's got its whole life ahead of it. And this machine closes in on it. And as a child, you were terrified. And then in theory, it stops at the right place and gives you an electronic reading of your foot size. God, yeah, I do remember that, Liz. Were you as terrified of it as I was? I couldn't wear somebody else's shoes, says GPS. Neither could I, mate, but these are mine now, so I can. There's a high chance I'll fall asleep soon, says Simon. Well, that's true for anybody who watches one of my live streams. In fact, I have been told directly from the horse's mouth that people use me as a sleep aid. There you go. That's age for you, isn't it? Once upon a time I was used as a marital aid, now I'm used as a bloody sleep aid. Hey ho, at least I've got a use. Clark's had a measuring machine for pants, says Jimmy Quinn. Did they? Nigel has a TF wheel, says Mustard. And he's absolutely correct, it does, and that's why the airbag light is on all the time when he went past an MOT. It does look cool though. Can't you bodge the airbaggery in some way to turn the light out? We say, have to love you and leave you now, says Spotty Botty. Work beckons. TTFN everyone, have a great night all. Boaty's probably had too much testosterone this evening, says Bad Books. It's the same with Gibbons. I do feel a bit gibbonish tonight. Fucking hell. I always tip delivery food drivers 3 quid, says Jimmy Quinn. Oh, Jimmy, I wish you lived closer to my restaurant. Oh, the Ken Joji is here and says, woohoo! Or something like that. GPS asks, did you see Furious Driving's new vid? He swapped the Fiat for the Rover 75 1.8 turbo. Nice car. No, I've not seen it yet, but I will catch up with it at some point. I always tip, says Stephen S. Paul. It's the right thing to do, especially these days. Yeah, but you're an American, Stephen S. Paul. You know, there's obviously a tipping culture in America. So much so that not only in America, not only can you not get away with not tipping, you can't get away with tipping less than 20%. It's very different in the UK, mate, sadly. Although, to be fair, inside the restaurant, we get incredible tips. Really, really, really good tips. But I don't take a share of those. I'm the only one who doesn't. My restaurant is a... Can I talk about this? I probably can actually, I think. My restaurant has a sleeping partner. He doesn't work there. He's an investor. He runs the other restaurant, but he doesn't work in my restaurant. But he takes a share of the tips. Now, even though I work front of house, I refuse to take a share of the front of house tips because I think it should go to the people who are there day in, day out, or the people who are there on that night and actually provide the service. So I don't. If I do deliveries and happen to get a tip, obviously I trouser that. Of course I do. But there are very few delivery tips. Restaurant tips are very generous. And I don't get a share of them. But, anyway, there you are. 22 watching and only for, good God, are there really 22 watching? Bloody hell. And only 5 likes, says Liz. Hit that like button, folks. 16 hours a day, says the Kenjoji. Really? Slavery? Yeah, I work. I do work 16 hours a day. They're not all at the restaurant, but the restaurant isn't all I do. I do other things as well. I run the UK Singles Network. I run the UK Singles Charity. I now run 2 YouTube channels and half run a 3rd YouTube channel. And whether you consider that work or not, it's time that you have to do stuff that might not be stuff that you would prefer to be doing. So my routine, if you didn't realise, and if you're remotely interested, when I get up and come downstairs, the first thing I do is put the coffee machine on. And while the coffee machine is wording itself into life, what do? I start work. And I continue to work throughout the day. Then I go to the restaurant and I work there. And then I come home and I work some more. It's now midnight. It's now midnight. I got home at whatever time I got home, about 11:15, and I started work. I'm in my mind, I'm working now. In a sense, you know, my YouTube channel is monetized. In some ways, you know, it's a community thing, I know that, but it is monetized. I've put a lot of effort and a lot of time into it. And in some ways, I do see it as as work. Although it's a jolly lovely sort of work, but you know, I'm not relaxing, I'm not having a bath, I'm not watching television or anything like that. I'm doing something approximating work. And when I finish a live stream, I don't just collapse in a drunken heap with my supper. I actually go back to work. And that work will be, it'll be online stuff, it'll be something for the charity, something for UK Singles Network, maybe editing a video, maybe sorting some of that stuff out. But it will be work, I promise you that. And I work up until literally 30 seconds or less before I go to bed. When I have my supper, I'm eating supper with one hand and I'm working with another hand. And yeah, I finish work, I go to bed, and I'm asleep within 10 seconds of getting into bed. And then I wake up in the morning, like I said, come downstairs, start work all over again. So I sleep normally for 6 or 7 hours. And whenever I'm not asleep, I'm working in some way, shape or form. You know, admittedly, I'm not down a coal mine or something like that. But, you know, it kind of is work, in a way. Very badly paid work, but, you know, maybe one day. Mustard and Boaty Do Cars says, I'm touching myself right now and it feels lovely. And, well, thanks for potentially oversharing, but, yeah, well, you know, fair play to you, fair play to you. If you're enjoying yourself, you've had a beer, you've done your live stream, you're fondling yourself, and you're saying it feels lovely, you're in a happy place. So I'm happy for you. It's not PVC. Bugger off, GPS. One day, GPS, I'm going to meet you and I'm going to shake you firmly by the hand like a man. I may hug you because I really like you. And then I'm going to sit on your head, bastard. Drink the wine I got you. Guilt trip a few bottles out of the community. I still haven't drunk that underscore. I can't bring myself to drink the good stuff. I need an occasion. It looks lovely, says Jimmy Quinn. Beautiful, Boaty. Nice buy. Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. See, that's why Jimmy's my favourite. He comes up with comments like that. Liz says leather food. Yeah, it's had hide food. It has had hide food. Feels quite nice, says Stephen S. Paul. Using it was hide food. No, hide food. Hide food. Yes, your armrest is a Billy bargain. Armrest engineered. Boaty needs to lie down now. Just the thought of giving up the wine is making him feel faint. I'm going to need a drink regarding GPS's comments, says underscore, and I rarely drink. Oh, wine reviews. Oh yeah, that would be an excuse for drinking the good stuff, wouldn't it? Good thinking. That's why you are my unpaid intern. That was the word. That was the word. Do you ever watch Big Jet TV on YouTube? Oh, not habitually, but is that the channel where they suddenly went viral when they were doing a live in a massive high wind? I'm sure it was them, and I watched that and I watched a few others. To be honest, I'm so busy doing my stuff that I'm barely watching any YouTube at the moment, and I'm missing it. I love Mentor Pilot, which I know you do too. There's a lot of other channels that I used to habitually watch. There's just no time at the moment. There really isn't enough time in the day to do everything that I want to do. Every day I'm not doing something that I hoped to do. And that's not because I'm being lazy or blowing anything off. There literally just isn't enough time. Take the merch store, right? I would love to get that well and truly stocked. I would love to. Just no time. Absolutely no time. And of course, now I've come up with the idea for this second channel, which is totally separate, nothing to do with it. Well, it's a bit to do with this. That's going to take up even more bloody time. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I did actually reach out to Boo, not Freelander Boo, real Boo, on the off chance that she might want to jump back into singles, because we used to run it together, and more of the success is down to her than it is down to me, to be honest. And we're kind of talking, not in real life, only by chat, but I think she's still incredibly angry with me. And she's kind of, so, not sure that will happen, but I'm trying to keep the door open, and I'm also hoping that we can get back on good enough terms, you know, just as friends, if nothing else, or even just as business acquaintances, if nothing else, so that I can see Jess. I miss Jess more than you can believe. It's horrendous. I don't know if any of you have been in this situation, but if you ever become a step parent and, you know, fall head over heels for the kid, and you couldn't love them anymore if they were your own, and, you know, they become the most important thing in your life, because kids, because kids should always be the most important thing in your life. And then suddenly a relationship ends, and because you're only a step parent, not a blood parent. Right, okay, sorry, I'm being pinged. Because you're only a step parent, that relationship disappears overnight. And that's what I've had with Jess. I'm not allowed to see Jess. Jess wants to see me. I want to see Jess. And I'm not allowed to. And that's bloody heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Really is. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. Drink more wine, Boaty, and forget your problems. Good idea. I just heard a gnat fart in Boaty's kitchen. Oh, Dinosaur Dad's here. Splendid. Oh, Mustard's asking, are you sized 12? No. I have ridiculously small feet for a man of my height. I'm only a size 11 shoe, and for my height I should be a 13 or 14, but I'm not. Gareth Williams is, he's a size 13. Dead Man's Shoes is a great film, says Bad Books. Oh, it's a different staff to the one I had at your house, says Matt. Same length, but it's got a face carved into it. So you could use it as a medium range prodding device, and I would. That Clark's machine is why I always ended up with shoes that were too small, because I curled my toes up to avoid it cutting them off. Yeah, it was terrifying when you were a kid. Bloody terrifying. Clark still use feet measuring machine. I got measured for the first time, and this is Trace. I got measured for the first time since I was a child back in 2015, and oh my God, I was 8 years old again. Turns out I've been wearing oversized shoes for 35 years. Your Rovers have ABS warning light, don't they? Asked the Kenjoji. I mean, in case it breaks, of course. Yeah. Oh, Stephen S. Paul found some more treasures in cars at work today, including another working taser. I'm going to go to the parents' house and wait for Mum and Dad to take their afternoon nap. You evil swine. Oh dear. My tip, says GPS, don't tip. Best tip going, charity starts at home. I don't consider YouTube as a work, but yeah, you do. STH, which I think means, no, I don't know what it means. But yeah, well, anything that you're doing for either for reward or in the hope of reward, rather than doing what you would choose to do as leisure, well, all right, it's not really work, I'll grant you that. But believe me, when you're editing a video, it feels like bloody work, especially if you're doing it against the clock, because you've got to get off to another work. And the Kenjoji carries on. You are not working now, really. You don't have a real money from it still. Oh, okay. Well, if you say so. He's got a point. It's not entirely work. It's a hobby with a vague hope that it will become full-time work. I'm sure people do YouTube for different reasons. But for many people, they hope that it can become a full-time job or paid career. And, you know, I guess that if I could wave a magic wand, that's what it would be for me. Not that it'll ever happen. We live in a shitty world. We do indeed. Nigel says, Mickey, he's off. Mustard says, we spend a lot of time together. Believe me, he is hard work. And he's got a fair point. Again, I don't know what night our lunch video is going to go out, but make sure you watch the second half of it. It's one of our best ones. The only work I can see you doing, says GPS, consists of a right hand and a wine glass. You cheeky bastard. I'm not afraid of a good day's work. Boaty, says Liz, what's your favourite everyday wine? Well, my favourite everyday wine would be my favourite wine. I would love to be able to drink it every day. And that would probably be, without going silly, stupidly expensive, it would just be a good Premier Cru Chablis. I'd even settle for a really good Pinot Grigio. And yeah, one of those would be my favourite everyday wine. But my actual everyday wine is this, because it's cheap. It's the cheapest wine going that's, you know, vaguely drinkable when you freeze the shit out of it. What do people collect on this live stream? Asked Jimmy. That's a good question, Jimmy. What do you collect? Matt says, yeah, I dated a girl with kids, put me off getting in serious relationships due to the effect on her daughter and my feelings. Oh, that's sweet. Mustard and I are going to share, we're going to share shoes. We're going to be shoe buddies. I was looking at your shoes. I was looking at your shoes yesterday, Matt. I don't want to share those. Have you got a better pair? Those were a bit scary. And to be fair, mine were no better. When I was looking at Mustard shoes, I was wearing these. And these are my my Tesco specials. They're absolute. Right, can you see that there? There's nothing there. See, it's all worn through. And there's no sole there. There's nothing there. And until today, I've been having to wear these. And it's just like walking about in bare feet. And my feet are knackered. So painful. So that's why I'm feeling slightly joyful tonight. You might think my new to me, Clarks are knackered, but they're not. Look at that. They're almost brand bloody new. And it's like walking on a cloud of ecstasy. is what it's like. Yeah, we can share these, Mustard. When I get another pair, we'll share them. We'll do 1 week on, 1 week off. Oh dear. Matt collects Lego minifigures. That's replying to Jimmy. Oh, STH equals something. Oh, and there is a concession from the Kenjoji. Editing is a work. Okay, agreed. There you go. We always end up in some form of agreement, don't we? There's a little bit of compromise on both sides and we meet in the middle. I consider, says Trace, YouTube, Twitch and streaming, etc. all as work. Just very enjoyable work. Calling it work gives me a sense of commitment to myself. Yeah, there's an element in that. You know, it's tricky when it doesn't really pay. Well, it's only tricky in terms of calling it work. I mean, if I was completely honest with you, if I didn't earn a penny from this, and I only earn a few pennies, I'd do it anyway because of you guys and because, you know, I love this. But I would probably do it a little bit less obsessively, and I'd give myself probably an hour a day of just doing some me stuff. It's really weird. If you've not done this, it's weird. If you enjoy yourself doing something, you feel guilty that you're not making content. And whatever you do, you always have to try and meld it in with making content. Otherwise you can't enjoy yourself, you just feel guilty. Oh, and more concessions, more agreement with Kenjoji. Hoping to become a job. Yeah, I agree about that with YouTube. Get your pottering harness onto the market, says Pingu. Bound to be a money spinner. Name 4 or 5 best rock stroke metal bands in your opinion. And you can't say the Beatles. Well, they weren't rock or metal, were they? I collect Concorde memorabilia, says Jimmy. Car emblems and badges and taxidermy. Isn't this customer stroke client wooing? That's definitely work. The Kenjoji collects cars and watches. I collect dust, says Trace. Send us your shoe smell via 6G network. Forget about the soul, it's what's inside that counts. I unintentionally connect bolts, nuts and washers. I do edit GPS, I bloody do edit. Oh, thank you to those who commented on my King Bolan gadget review. I promised I'd get a video out within a month and I realised it was knocking on a bit. So I just rushed that one out, but I'm going to do follow-up videos and I will do them better. But I'm genuinely, see, that's another thing I've not had time to get around to doing. I'm genuinely keen to see how far it will go down the Rover route. Like, for example, I want new key fobs for, well, extra key fobs for Wetleg and for Boo. Would that thing be able to program them? If I just buy an unprogrammed key fob, you know, a second-hand one, would I be able to use that to program them? I've got no idea. It does say on the box somewhere. Oh no, it wasn't on the box. It was on the Amazon advert. It does say key programming. So maybe I can. I don't know. Oh, one hell for review. I hate that Protestant spirit, like work, fuck off. Raven, Angel Dust, King Diamond, Anvil, accept. What? I'm going to bugger off, my darlings. I'm going to bugger off. I meant to bugger off 21 minutes ago, and I didn't bugger off. So I'm going to bugger off now, even though I really want to keep talking to you, because I keep thinking about things that I would like to talk about. And I would like to hear, oh, hang on, the message above that is important. I don't, oh, hang on. I don't like calling things work when I don't need to, because I see the term work as something awful and obligatory. It kills my sense of freedom. Never mind if I earn the money or not from it. And then followed up with, I hate that Protestant spirit, like work, work, fuck off. I guess that you can probably draw the line somewhere. Now, if I was doing a job that I was just doing in order to earn money, whatever it might be, and it was kind of soul destroying or soulless, then of course I would hate it, and I would begrudge every moment that I spend at it. I work my arse off. All of my life I've worked my arse off. I've always worked 7 days a week. For 9 years, I worked without a single day off, 365 days a year. Not Christmas Day, not New Year's Day. And that was working minimum 16-hour days, often 18-hour days. But I do that, I guess, out of choice. And whatever work I've done, it's always been something that I have loved. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. It's not a name that you can mention anymore, Jimmy Savile. But I'll start saying goodnight, loves, because I'm going to bugger off now. Yeah, you can't really mention that name anymore, but when I was relatively young, I bought a book allegedly written by Jimmy Savile. I don't know if he wrote it or it was ghostwritten. Thinking back, I'm pretty sure he wrote it. And it had a change of title. And the volume that I read was called Love is an Uphill Thing. I wish I still had that copy, because I would love to read it again, knowing what we all know now. But the one thing, well, I remember lots of things from that book, but the one thing that I do remember was when he was talking about work, and he was what was called a Bevan boy. He was forced to go down the mine and work down the mine, and that really is work. And being forced to go down the mine is probably enough to give you pause for thought. And he came up with the line or the concept, and I'll have to paraphrase, but his idea was that you should work, first of all, you should work out what you really enjoy doing, and then you should work out a way to get paid for doing it. And that makes a lot of sense to me. That's why if I was a woman, I'd be a prostitute. But that's kind of always what I've tried to do. I've tried to work out at that point in my life what I enjoy doing, and then try and find a way to get paid for it. And oh, Matt, fucking hell, Matt, that is really funny and really clever, and I can never read that out. Oh, Matt, you're an evil genius. You really are. I couldn't have come up with that quickly, if at all. All right, fair play, that's brilliant. I can't read it out, but that is brilliant. I'm not putting you on the naughty step for that, Matt. I'm absolutely not. I'm not reading it out, but you're not going on the naughty step for it. I'd shake you by the hand for coming out with that. But yeah, so that's kind of what YouTube is. It was something that I discovered I enjoyed doing. I wanted to get better at it for my own pleasure. Then I discovered the community aspect and what that added to my life, the difference it's made for me, selfishly and personally. And I hope will go on to make a difference for other people. And yeah, then the dream becomes, can I get paid for doing this? And I am. It's not, you know, it's not properly being paid at the moment. But, you know, who knows? Great oaks from little acorns grow. Hubnut would have been at this point at some time. JM on Cars would have been. Furious Driving's Matt would have been. You know, loads and loads of people are. Not all will go on to grow to the heights where you can make it a full-time job, but where's the harm in trying? Especially if you're doing it like I'm doing it, and working it around all of your other things so that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket, or you're not, I don't know. Anyway, I need to go and get some supper and stuff. Oh, I forgot to put that on the radiator, didn't I? Oh, well, that's thawed nicely. That can go there. So, oh yeah, please hit like. And yeah, good night to everyone. Let's bugger off. I've got the burps. I'll play you out. Oh look, I did hit 1 o'clock. I swore to God I was going at past. Which one is it? It's this one, isn't it? Oh, what's going on here? Oh, let's just go for it. Wrong one. I knew that. Oh, there we go. Good night, everyone. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. But only for a short one tomorrow. Who else is on tomorrow? Oh, Mike! Hello, mate. Oh, bless you, and a fiver. Cheers, buddy. Thank you. I didn't know you were there. Is anybody doing one tomorrow? Is it Rob tomorrow? Beards and Bangers? I think it might be. Oh God, that last one never gets any better, does it? Right, thank you so much for your company tonight, everybody. And thank you for supporting the live streams that went before me. Simon's and Mustard's. I think it's Rob, Mr. B&B tomorrow. And do remember that his double rooms are for married couples only. And it is a £10 supplement per person for a cooked breakfast. And I will see you probably 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Thanks, darlings. Have a safe and peaceful night. You stay safe and warm. Take care of yourselves and try and feel a little bit of joy. And have one last look at my... Fucking hell, look at that. That looks absolutely stunning. I've not even polished it yet. Oh, night, darlings.